G'day guys, so my last few videos have been very build orientated. I've been just doing all the builds, building the new bed and all that sort of stuff, so I thought it was time to do one slightly different. I thought I'd just do up a little walk around the system and tell you about what I've got planned coming up. So yeah, if you want to keep watching. Okay, so first thing here in the aquaponic system is the fish. So I thought I might give a quick overview about how they're all going and how they're working inside the system. So I could show you this, or I could use my fancy little waterproof camera. So there's a dog watching the chickens very intently, and here it's me. So I will go into the system, and hopefully I tell this is waterproof at the moment, and show you how they're all going. So the water is still a little bit murky at the moment. It's that way because when I put in the new bed, it was just a little bit of stuff that got mixed up all with it. But the fish seem to be quite happy in there. I've got my little dickhead fish down there, and they all seem to be growing and doing their thing. But like I said, the water is a little bit cold at the moment, so they're not doing really much at the moment. So one annoying thing that I'm going to have to fix inside of this system is the amount of water that's coming inside of it. I've oversized my sump, so that's not a problem, but the problem I'm having here is there's too much water going into the bed and it's not draining out fast enough for it to come. So I got my little handheld camera. So this is as the water actually comes into the system. It's coming in quite well and it's coming out very well, but you can see around the edges of it that it's filling up a little bit too quickly. Okay, and as it goes, you can see that the water is filling up and coming towards the edges of the lip here. And the water just keeps on coming, and it keeps on coming, and it keeps on coming, and there's just a bit too much of it coming. And you can see it around there, that's where I'm starting to get water that's overflowing. And it's going to build up to a lot of water that comes out of it, which is more than what I want. And then it keeps on coming. Like I say, I love the little waterfall feature, it works really, really nicely, and it works really well. But there is just a little bit too much water coming out. So I'm going to need to raise up the level of the fish pond a little bit and go on from there. So fixing it, it shouldn't be too hard. I'm just going to use a whole lot of little silver flex and that sort of stuff just to line any bit and build it up slightly higher. So that should stop any of the water coming out. But until I do that, I'm going to set it all on constant flood until it's all fixed. Otherwise, I'm just going to be losing lots of water because it goes through a surprisingly large amount of water when it does that. Okay, next thing I have planned with the system is to do with this lid. I've got to put another two on the other bed just for a bit of safety and to be able to raise the lids up and down. But at the moment, these lids are quite heavy and I don't particularly like the idea of lifting them up every time I want to have a feed of any time I want to feed the fish or even have a look at them. So I've got this guy. It's an old drill that I bought off Gumtree for about $20. It should be quite strong and it was the wiring inside of it and not the motor. So I am going to chop it up, I am going to externally wire it up and then I'm going to turn it into a little linear actuator. I'm going to put half of it on the bottom of it and a switch on the wall up there, and then I'll turn a button, we'll drill, it will push out the bolt, and you guys might not have a clue what I'm talking about, but it will be a future video when I get there. Okay, so I'm not quite sure how, because we're in the middle of winter at the moment, but these tomatoes are still growing like crazy. I wouldn't have thought they would have died off about a month ago, but I'm letting them go because I'm still getting tomatoes off them. So I'll give you a quick walk around and show you how they're all going at the moment. So, camera. I like having two cameras, it's really quite handy. And we're recording. So
I've got a whole lot of little romas and everything that are growing quite well, and lots of little cherry tomatoes are still growing like crazy. Other tomatoes, and some I've got to re-string up because they fell down. I've got some little black cherries, I believe they are. And then more that are still ripening and setting fruit.
So I'm really quite happy with how they're all still growing, and I'm going to let them keep on growing until they're done basically. but I should get a few more out of it. So I'll go on to the next lot. Okay, so this bed is not doing particularly much at the moment. It's one of the first ones I build. I've got some passion fruit in there that's growing. I'm not quite sure how well it will fruit or anything like that, but I'm giving it a go. And I've got a lot of rhubarb in here at the moment. So you can see the rhubarb as it's growing in there. It's got a little bit of nutrient deficiency at the moment, but hopefully that should come over because I put a little bit more iron in there and give it a couple of days and it should be fine. But it's growing like crazy.
And I have a little cat plant, which seems to be growing quite well. Hey kitty.
I've got more tomatoes growing inside of my DWC system, as you can see here, and they are just going like crazy. I'm not quite sure how long they'll keep on going for, but I will let them do their thing because I'm curious. And I have kale. I don't know why I have kale because I do not like kale. It tastes like crap and it's probably overrated, but I have some kale and it's growing well.
And next thing is my snow peas. I am gonna have masses and masses and masses of snow peas very soon, and hopefully they should taste very, very nice. Strawberries are growing like crazy, and I'm starting to get lots and lots of little crops out of them, which is good. And I'll put you in there. Hopefully you should start a new plant. And for people that are curious, can you grow rhubarb inside of a DWC system? Yes. Well, you can grow that side anyway. I'll see how big it can get after that. My little bit of lettuce is starting to take off, and it is growing really well. And celery. You cannot keep celery down inside of an aquaponic system. It is just impossible. My basil seems to be going to seed at the moment, which is what I want, because it's coming towards the end of the season. I've tried planting some new stuff, but it's just not particularly happy because I'm pretty sure it's just getting way too cold for it. But I'm letting all these go to seed, and hopefully I'm going to collect them all very soon. And my shiny new bed is up and running, and it is working quite well. I noticed here that I had some of the very first few seedlings of lettuce are starting to pop through. So hopefully they should start popping through very, very soon, and I will have masses of lettuce in this bed. Well, that's the plan anyway. And my bananas seem to be bananaing. And I've got more rhubarb, which seems to be transplanting alright. I've got some of the leaves that seem to be dying off, but they're not doing too badly at the moment, thankfully.
So, in the next few videos that I've got planned, I want to fix up these ones. These are my old beds. And they were good for a little while, and then I found I had a few flaws when I built them. So, I'm going to fix up those ones and explain how they all got broken up and figure out what I'm going to do with them. I might just do a giveaway on the channel, but I'll see how I go. Okay, so one of the next jobs that I want to do inside of this system is to do with the pond here. I've got to finish it off. At the moment, when I fill it up, I've got it going through this, which is a little water filter, which is taking out chlorine, little bits of sediment, and basic stuff like that from the system. But I don't like chopping it up like this. I don't like having a little hose that goes over the backyard, and it's just messy. If you can see in the background, I've got a little float valve in there. So I plan on running some copper tubing from the existing water source and into the back of there. So I'll actually be able to hook it up and work it quite well. So, and then after that, I plan on making a video on finishing off this actual thing itself. So I've still got little lids, and I want to get a little bit of gadgetry going with it, because once it's actually hooked up to a mains water supply and going through a filter, I'm not going to know exactly how much water's going through it. So I was going to set up a little tracking thing so you can get little sensors that will sense how much water's going through it, and it will tell me how much water's topping up into the system, which will be a bit of a let me know if something is going wrong with it. So yeah, that's what I have planned at the moment. That's how everything is growing at the moment, and I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you do, subscribe around there somewhere, and you'll be able to keep track of the new videos as they come in. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I hope you enjoy these videos as much as I enjoy making them.